Good evening. This is Susan, and this is Susan's Ramblings. We're continuing on with hints and tips on cooking or for foods, and then we will move into some recipes. First of all, substitution guide. 1 cup of corn soup equals 1 cup of sugar plus 1/4 cup of water. For sour cream, use your Greek yogurt. 1 cup of honey equals 1/3 cup of water and 1 1/4 cups of sugar. 1 tablespoon of vanilla equals 1 teaspoon of maple syrup. Hard-boiled eggs plus heated juice from bread and butter pickles equal pickled eggs. You also use pickled beet juice. Make your own croutons. Cut stale bread into cubes. Toss the cubes with olive oil or with melted butter. Add salt, garlic, and herbs to taste. Bake until golden brown. Can also turn croutons into breadcrumbs with a food processor or a blender. And I made garlic bread croutons the other day, and they will be turned into breadcrumbs. Teach the children how to cook. Have them help make the meal. They're more likely to eat the food if they help prepare it. Add 1 can of coconut milk to a mixed up box cake or muffin mix. It will stay moist and no eggs and oil are needed. In other words, you just use the box cake and the coconut milk, or the muffin mix and the coconut milk. To substitute dried lemons peel for fresh lemon peels, what you have equal 1 teaspoon of dried for each tablespoon of fresh. Make your own lemon powder. 2 tablespoons of lemon peel powder, 1 tablespoon of black pepper, and a teaspoon of salt. Test your oven temperature with an oven thermometer. That's a good one because your oven can be off for 5, 10, even 15 degrees, and that affects your baking. Do not overmix your cake batter. It will become rubbery and dense. Mix only until everything is well combined with the large lumps out, but not perfectly smooth. Do not scoop your flour out with your measuring cup. It will pack the flour down. Use a spoon to place flour in the measuring cup. Level off using a knife or the back of your finger. When baking, all of your ingredients should be at room temperature. Do not microwave the butter if using to bake with. It will create problems because it does not heat evenly. Parts of it will melt and other parts will still be cold. Instead, just cut butter into small pieces, put on a plate, and it will come to a room temperature sooner. Tablespoon conversions. 16 tablespoons equal 1 cup. 12 tablespoons equal 3/4 of a cup. 10 tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons equals 3/3 of a cup. 8 tablespoons equal 1/2 cup. 6 tablespoons equals 3/8 cup. 5 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon equals 1 cup, a 1/3 cup. 6 tablespoons equals 3/8 cups, 5 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon equals 1/3 cup. 4 tablespoons equals 1 cup. 2 tablespoons equals 1/8 cup. 3 teaspoons equal 1 tablespoon. 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder equals 1 garlic clove. Never crack an egg on the side of the bowl. We'll push the shell in with all the bacteria into the egg. Crack the egg on a flat surface. Use a microplane to make prepping garlic or ginger easier. Also use the microplane to grate hard cheeses, chocolate, or whole spices such as nutmeg. Zest the garlic instead of chopping. The microplane is probably one of the most used utensils in my kitchen. Do not use butter or olive oil for high temperatures cooking. Never put the butter or the olive oil in a super hot pan. It will quickly burn or it may even start a fire. Use only vegetable oil or peanut oil for high temperature cooking. Remember that, we don't want any fires. Read your recipe through completely before you start cooking. That's to make sure you have all the ingredients, that you understand all the directions. Use a teaspoon to peel ginger. Run the teaspoon against the surface of the ginger and scrape the skin off. Have all your ingredients prepped, measured, and ready to go before you start cooking. In other words, dice the food, etc. Season every step of the way instead of waiting until the end and then over-seasoning everything, especially salt. Taste food as you go, but use a different spoon each time you test it. Otherwise, you end up adding bacteria into the food. If you oversalt a soup, throw in a quartered potato and simmer for 10 minutes. The potato will absorb lots of the salt, and then you discard the potato. Cook the bacon in the oven instead of a fry pan. The strips will come out flat. There will be no spattering of grease, and it is just better all around. Prevent cut animal vegetables, such as potatoes, from turning brown by storing them in cold water. Drain the water and put fresh water in the pan before cooking. Use an instant read thermometer to detect the temperature of the middle of meat or all foods. Dry your meats with a paper towel before you sear in order to have a perfect sear. Use a figure 8 stirring pattern to prevent the bottom of the pan from scratching. Use this technique mainly for gravy or tomato sauce. When thickening your sauce with a raw rouge, you add the liquid a little at a time so it does not clump. Make sure the liquid is hot or it will cause the roux to seize up and leave chunks. Now, I don't have my liquid hot, but I don't have a problem there either, so, okay? Put a wet paper towel under your cutting board to prevent it from moving. A moving cutting board is dangerous. Or go to the dollar store and get some drawer liners, I guess they're called. Anyway, just cut a piece of that up, and it will keep the board from moving, and you won't waste the paper towel. Then you can just wash it with your other dishes and so forth. To avoid the smell of cabbage cooking, add a piece of crushed ginger with the cabbage. To remove garlic smells from your hands, rub them on the stainless steel sink for 30 seconds, and then you wash them. Keep whole cloves in the sugar jar. Ants hate cloves. Alright, we'll start with the recipes. Muffin Pan Potatoes. 8 to 10 potatoes peeled and sliced thin. 3 tablespoons of butter. 2 teaspoons of Parmesan cheese. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. 1 teaspoon of thyme leaves. Salt and pepper to taste. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Melt the butter and use it to grease some of the muffin tins. Cut the potatoes into small slices. Place the potatoes in a large bowl. Add the remaining melted butter, Parmesan cheese, garlic powder, thyme leaves, salt and pepper. Mix well. Layer the potatoes into stacks. Place each stack into cups of the muffin tin. Bake at 300 degrees in a 350 degrees oven for 55 to 60 minutes, or until the edges are golden brown and the center is tender. Let cook for 5 minutes. Garnish with Parmesan cheese, thyme, and rosemary. Muffin Pan Potatoes. I hope you're growing your own potatoes, because potatoes are getting very expensive in the store, if they have them at all. Lazy Day cookies. You ever have one of those days? Yeah, I do. Today is one of them. 1 package of yellow cake mix, 1 stick of butter, 1 12-ounce package of chocolate chips, and 2 eggs. You combine the butter and the cake mix and cream it until light and fluffy. Add your eggs one at a time, mixing well after each addition. Fold in your chocolate chips. Drop by teaspoons onto baking sheet. Bake in a preheated 350 degrees oven for 10 to 12 minutes or until golden brown. Very simple recipe, very simple the ingredients. Donkey balls. 2 packages of crescent rolls. 2 8-ounce cream cheese softened. 1 package of sausage. 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. 1 small onion minced. Cook your sausage, your garlic powder, and onion until brown and slightly crispy. Drain. Remember, keep your grease. It can be strained and it can be used again. Combine sausage and the cream cheese. Unroll the crescent rolls and cut each crescent roll in half. Place teaspoons of mixture on each triangle of the crescent rolls. Wrap the crescent roll into a small ball, making sure the sausage mixture is sealed inside. Place the balls on a baking sheet. Bake at 350 minutes for 8 minutes or until done. Do not burn the bottoms. Creamy burrito casserole. 1 pound ground meat, either beef or turkey. 1/2 onion chopped. You know, if you use turkey doesn't really have a flavor of its own, not the ground turkey. And it takes on the flavor of the ingredients in the dish. So there is no turkey flavor. Or it is used just as well as ground beef. It just takes some getting used to. And ground turkey right now is much cheaper than ground beef. Alright, 1/2 onion chopped, 1 package of taco seasoning, 6 large flour tortillas, 1 can of refried beans, 2 to 3 cups of shredded cheese, 1 can of cream of mushroom soup, and 4 ounces of cream cheese, sour cream. Brown the beef and the onions. Drain excess grease if necessary. Add your taco seasoning and refried beans. Mix the soup and the sour cream in a separate bowl. Spread 1/2 of the sour cream mixture in the bottom of a casserole dish. Tear up 3 tortillas and spread it over the sour cream mixture. Put 1/2 meat mixture over the tortilla. Add a layer of cheese. Repeat the layers until the pan is full. Sprinkle cheese over the top. Bake uncovered at 350 degrees for 20 or 30 minutes or until it's bubbly. 1930 emergency cake. 1 3/4 cup flour, 1 cup sugar, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 2 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, 1/3 cup shortening, 3/4 cup milk, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Combine and mix all ingredients. Beat well for 3 minutes. Bake in a 7 by 7 pan for about 20 minutes or until test done. Remember, these old recipes may use pans that we don't have anymore, so you have to just kind of adjust it to ours cooking. 1939 Canadian War cake or Depression cake. 2 cups of raisins, 1 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of vegetable shortening, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of cloves, and 1 cup of water. 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 1/2 cups of flour. Place your raisins, sugar, shortening, cinnamon, cloves, and water into a small saucepan. Bring to a boil. Boil for 5 minutes. Remove from heat and allow to cool to room temperature. That will take several hours. This is not a fast cake to make. Preheat oven to 250 degrees. Mix baking soda and flour into the raisin mixture until fully combined. Pour the mixture into a 8x8 greased and floured pan. Bake at 350 degrees for 30 minutes or until test done. Buns. 2 tablespoons of warm water. 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast. 1 cup of warm milk. 2 tablespoons of butter. 1 egg slightly beaten. 3 1/2 cups of flour divided. 3/4 cups sugar. 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. Put yeast in warm water to proof. Add your butter and eggs to warm milk. In mixer bowl with stand mixer, mix flour, sugar, salt, water, and milk mixtures. With a dough hook, mix just until it becomes a ragged ball. Let it rest for 15 to 25 minutes. After resting the dough, knead 10 to 12 minutes with your the hook, adding a little flour if the dough is sticky. After kneading, cover and let rise until doubled. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Turn dough out onto surface. Cut dough into 16 pieces. Shape it into balls. Let rise, place in a greased 16x9 glass baking dish. Let it rise a second time after you making the balls, and let it rise for 45 minutes. Then you bake at 350 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes or until test done. Please read this recipe through before you start, because I goofed it up. Okay? Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless you.